The wedding weekend was supposed to be just another break from college. I arrived at my best friend Tyler's family estate, expecting nothing more than laughter, drinks, and a packed schedule of rehearsals. But then I saw her, his mom. I hadn't seen her in over a year, not since the divorce. Something about her had changed. She carried herself differently, like someone who'd remembered how to breathe again. Her hair was tied up carelessly, and yet she looked flawless. She greeted me with a hug that lasted a second too long. It wasn't intentional, probably, but I noticed. Later, while helping her carry some decorations into the barn, our hands brushed. She laughed softly and said, "You've grown up." I joked back, but I couldn't ignore how that simple touch sent a flicker through me. She smelled like jasmine and something warmer. I told myself it meant nothing, that I was imagining the softness in her eyes when she looked at me. She was my friend's mom. This was ridiculous. But still, when I went to bed that night, I kept thinking about how her fingers had grazed mine, about that smile, and how for a brief moment I didn't feel like a kid anymore. The next evening was a dance rehearsal on the patio. Everyone was laughing, couples spinning, music loud and carefree. I was sipping a drink, trying to stay invisible, until I saw her across the space. Red dress, heels, wine glass in hand. She moved like she didn't care who was watching. I don't know what pushed me, but I walked over and said, "Wanna dance?" I expected a polite no. Instead, she smiled like she'd been waiting. "Sure," she said. Her hand slid into mine. Warm. Confident. We started moving, not fast, not slow, just in sync. She looked up at me amused. "You're not terrible," she teased. I grinned, tried to stay cool, but my palm on her lower back felt dangerous. Her body leaned slightly into mine. Her perfume hit me again, familiar and suddenly intoxicating. The music faded in my ears. Nothing existed except her breath near my cheek, and the way her fingers tightened slightly. We didn't speak. Didn't need to. When the song ended, we paused for a moment too long. Then she stepped back, smoothed her dress, and walked away with a soft thanks. I stood there, unable to move, my pulse still racing from something I couldn't name that I couldn't sleep. The house was quiet, but my mind wasn't. That dance replayed over and over. The warmth of her hand, the way her eyes locked onto mine like no one else mattered. It wasn't a joke anymore. It wasn't just fun. Something real had happened and I couldn't shake it. Guilt crawled in with the silence. Tyler was just a room away, trusting me like a brother. And I was thinking about his mom like I had no conscience left. I needed air. When I stepped outside, she was already there. Barefoot, wine glass half full. Eyes fixed on the sky like she was chasing something. I almost turned back, but she looked at me and smiled, small and tired.
I sat beside her, unsure.
"Can't sleep either?" she asked. I nodded. She didn't look at me again, just whispered, "Feels strange being free again. I don't know who I am yet." I wanted to say something comforting, something safe, but I couldn't lie. "You seemed sure last night," I said quietly. She looked at me, then really looked. A silence stretched between us. Then she stood, whispered, "Good night," and walked away. I didn't follow. I couldn't. I just watched her disappear. The wedding night was chaos, laughter, music, bodies moving everywhere. I tried to lose myself in the crowd, to forget everything. But then I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned. It was her. "One more dance?" she asked, voice soft, unreadable. I didn't answer. I just followed her to the floor. This time was different. There was no pretending. Her body pressed into mine without hesitation. My hand rested on her hip like it belonged there. We moved slowly, breathing in sync, the world around us disappearing. Her fingers traced the back of my neck. I felt everything, the tension, the risk, the want. Her lips were near mine, close enough to feel her breath. She whispered, "This is wrong." I didn't disagree. I just whispered back, "Then stop me." She didn't. I kissed her. Once. Then again. Nothing in the world existed except that moment. But it shattered instantly when Tyler's voice cut through the music, calling my name. She stepped back like the air had burned her. Her eyes didn't meet mine. She turned and walked away without a word. I stood there frozen, guilt slamming into me. I had crossed a line I couldn't uncross. And I wanted to cross it again.